It ain't no joke, the truth be told. The Black Lives Matter movement is not new. You know your history. During the Freedom's Right movement, they took to the streets, they protested, they marched, they wanted to vote someone in office who can help them change some of the things, if not all the things, during those years of the freedom rights and civil rights movement, way before Dr. King was even born. But what happened during those movements? The same thing that happened now. The only difference is it was black folks being attacked by racists. It was black folks who had water hoses put on them by the police department with their dogs and the fire departments. And mayors and governors stood by these racists and bigots that attacked us. Now, also, let's make it clear, there were white Americans back then for the freedom rights, civil rights, Black Lives Matter, and Black Women's Lives movement before and after Dr. King. Now let's bring it on up to Dr. King, because this is the one we all remember well, because they had television. Dr. King did not march with just black people. There were white people who supported us just as well in the movement. But listen to this here closely. During those times, same thing happened that's happening now, but there's a little twist to it. White racist bigots went into our neighborhoods, burned down our small businesses, burned down people who supported at that time what they call Negroes. If you had a store and you was a white person that was against racism and bigotry, they burned your shit down just as well as they burned our shit down. Bombed our houses, bombed our churches, shot at us, hung us, beaten us, and guess what? You might not like me saying it, but white people that were leaders within the freedom and the civil rights movement, even during the time of Dr. King, were targeted equally. They didn't just walk past the white people that was out there with us. No, they sucked the dogs on all of us. Or shall I say, all of them, for the rights that we actually take for granted right now today. But everything ended up in a vote. Everything ended up exactly the way it is right now. We want to vote somebody in office that's going to make some changes, even though we know we're not going to get all the changes, just like they always done. There will be a change that's going to come. You got a lot of people who don't like that. They want everything right now. What about the heritage? What about the future? Don't you understand that you just might have to take this brutality, but fight back? You might have to take this bigotry, but fight back? You still got to vote? Let your voice be heard? Because you wouldn't be where you are now if people didn't already do that for us. So instead of running around saying, well, I want it right now, and voting ain't gonna do nothing. Bullshit. Voting did a lot. Voting did a lot. Because other than that, we'll still be taking this shit we took back in 1968 all the way on back. And you know damn well, that we not marching down the street and physically getting attacked by racists. They might stand there with the guns and hoot and holler and all this shit here, but they ain't shooting up in the air trying to scare black people like they did and the police didn't do shit. They not fighting us in the street and trying to beat us. Ain't no police dogs trying to attack us and sick on us. That shit that Trump pulled, okay, fine. But guess what, though? Wasn't no racists coming out there. They might have shot all the tear gas and all this shit there. But where was all those bigots and racists? On TV, laughing. In the background somewhere, laughing. Then you got Antifa. They're a bunch of white boys trying to start a police riot against black folks and people in the civil rights movement. Don't let it be fooled. Antifa ain't with us. Take the mask off. They whites. They run to the front of the lines of the Black Lives Matter movement, get all into the police face, throw water bottles, burn shit up, flip over cars and all this stuff there. But remember, who's really doing the rioting? Who's really busting up everything in our neighborhood community, just like in the past. Just like in the past. KKK and all of them, even at the time of Dr. King, they ran down the street and they attacked us with sticks and baseball bats and bottles. You know, we were running, fighting back and all this stuff here. We was outnumbered. They got guns and still don't even make a move today because it's not like it was back then. So when you turn around and say voting don't matter and things ain't gonna change, you hate what happened to us back in the past? How come you bold enough to do what you're doing now and go home with only, eyes or something burning from pepper spray? Think about it while you're on your bullhorn. If anything you should be doing, you should tell the Antifa to sit that ass down. You should be in the front of the line, you understand me, snatching them hoods and everything off Antifa, exposing them and saying, move aside, point them out to the other people in the Black Lives Matter movement, saying, hey, that's Antifa, they not with us. Plain and simple, period. We're not even really getting racial profiled anymore. You know who's getting racial profiled? Whites between the ages of 11 to 70. Known as right now homegrown terrorists. They've always been homegrown terrorists. Their little kids go to school and kill everybody in the whole school. They always talk about some black on black crime. Well, let me tell you what the biggest white on white crime was. The Civil War. Civil War. Guns, bombs, tanks, or whatever the hell they was using back then. The whites attacked whites in the North from the South. Is that white on white crime or what? I'm talking about blowing shit up, killing each other, and all this stuff here. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of race on race crime. Chicago, where I'm from, always been Chicago. When I seen on the news that, oh my God, the south side of Chicago is doing this here and doing that there. And I'm like, what's new? I remember Al Capone and all these other people did the same thing in Chicago. And then I thought about it. I said, oh yeah, Barack Obama's from the south side of Chicago. Let's make him look bad. So what the media did was they went around to the south side of Chicago and reported all the crime that's been going on. What did President Obama do? He exposed the police in Chicago for instigating and keeping most of the shit going that was in the communities. He had the DOJ go out to every single city and expose every single crooked government, you understand me, and police department that was out there. He exposed them all. But are you remembering that? No. You getting upset because of something that only started with President Obama. So thank him. The television exposed what was happening to black people during the civil rights movement. Nobody hear about Dr. King. Didn't nobody really understand what the blacks were marching about and protesting about. All they heard TV saying, Negroes are at it again. They're out there and they're doing this here and they're doing that there. Then all of a sudden the world seen Dr. King on the TV and what was happening to black people, and shit lit up. They went and they voted and things changed. They went and they voted and things changed. They went and they voted and things changed. Know your history. Don't just speak about it. Be about it. Other than that, you just a voice with a bullhorn telling the wrong people what they want to hear at the wrong time. Let's just keep it real, all right? And all those people running around saying, black men are angry. Hell, I'm 6'4", 320 pounds. My voice is baritone. I'm talking right now, and they saying, oh my God, he's an angry black man on the video. No, I just got a baritone voice. And if you standing in front of me, you're going to see a big ass, strong, educated black man that's a family man. And if you want to use my race, my size, my baritone voice against me to call me angry, what did you say to piss me off? When you see a sister like Kamala Harris. And she's speaking with eloquency, and just like Michelle Obama did, she saying all these things about us. She's an angry black woman. No. It's just that our sisters are used to forcefully making their voice be heard. And let me tell you something. They want their voice to be heard first with black men. They wanted the respect. They want to show them they was educated. Black man didn't want to dominate and control the black woman because she had her own problems and everything, just being black, just like black men did. And she saw what was going on with white women. Black women saw, what white women went through in America. Being at home barefoot and pregnant. White men beating the shit out of their wives, slapping them around. In 1927 or 21 or whatever, when the white women went out and marched for their freedom rights and everything, you know what they told them? You think you won't get some kind of rights? Who you think you are? Niggas? Yeah, they call them niggas because they went out there and marched and protested. And they was getting their asses kicked by their husbands, family members, and everybody. Beat downs for real. But they went out there and they still continued. Because even back then, they saw that black women voices with black men were strong. And if blacks can do it, then why do white women got to sit back and take all that bullshit from their husbands? And so what did they do? They joined the movement. What pisses me off is that once somebody wants to change in their life, whether it's LBTJQ or whatever, I have no problem with them, or any other group, you understand me, except atheists. I'm calling it out right now. Atheists, I don't care what you say. I don't give a shit if you don't vote for Biden and Harris. I really don't. I don't kiss ass for a vote. I'm not going to sell my soul and my beliefs for a vote. So, in the words of Della Reese and Harlem Nights, like she would tell Red Fox or Eddie Murphy or somebody in the movie Harlem Nights, you can kiss my black entire ass. But what kills me though, and I'm just keeping it real, is when someone who wants our rights and wants the same thing that we get, but they turn around and they join the Democratic or Liberal Party or Democrat Liberal Party. They know that black folks are going to march for their freedom rights too. And so they ride along with black women. I'm gay and Dr. King fought for me. Dr. King fought for Negro Americans. He didn't fight for nobody but Negro Americans. So I don't have nothing against the LBGQT or any other group. Just stop using Dr. King's name. Dr. King didn't fight for you unless you were Negro. But that's what he said back then. I'm fighting for Negro Americans. Those were his words. The freedom and the rights of Negroes. Now, white people understood that. But guess what? Because of all the changes with us Negroes and our protesting and marches, the gay and lesbian, trans and all of them, Mexicans and everybody else, they turn around, scream Dr. King, they march up and down the street and everything, and we march with them. We don't agree with their logic because we know damn well, you understand me, that they only using Dr. King's name and they only using the Democratic Party because of what blacks in the Democratic Party has done for our freedom and our civil rights. So they use, or shall I say, abuse us. But then what do? They turn around, they get their rights, and then all of a sudden, Democrats ain't shit. Liberals ain't shit. They turn around, they want to be socialists. They turn around, they even become Republicans after they get their rights. Republicans were 100% against gays and lesbians. Still is. But what they do, they ran to the Democratic Party, got the laws changed because they voted to get the laws changed, and they got their freedom. But the truth of it is, if they thought like a conservative, or they thought like a socialist, or independent or something, whatever, they hid it until they got their rights. Then they showed their true colors. So that's the problem I have with them. Mexicans, I have my views in terms of whether they're legal or illegal. But when the legal American Mexicans march for the freedoms and the dreamers and all that stuff there, I happen to agree. I say, okay, fine, I get that. But tell the truth. Chavez did not give a damn at all about illegal Mexicans. When illegal Mexicans tried to cross the line of the Union, Chavez and other Mexicans kicked their asses. Period. Maybe that's one of the main reasons why they rather say Dr. King than Chavez, because they assume that we don't know the history. But yeah, we know it. Chavez was a great civil rights movement leader for Mexicans in America, especially for the Union. But if an illegal Mexican came in, tried to take their jobs, he did just like Jimmy Hoffa. Beat them down, period. Hoffa didn't play, Chavez didn't play. Tell the truth. Don't just run and say, well, Dr. King would fuck, it's a goddamn lie. You're a Mexican, you're not Negro. As Dr. King said back then. You have a good claim, you got a good reason to fight, fine. But use your civil rights the right way. Because guess what happened? Right now, Latinos are the number one supporters in terms of the brown and black people of Trump. That's just the truth. Now, I read a long time ago, and this is just my opinion, that inferior insecurities are for the reason why the Latino and Mexicans really choose Republicans over Democrats. They use Democrats and liberals to march for their rights and stuff, but when they come down to the vote, their insecurities and inferior minds kick into place. And they say, wait a minute, they still think to be white is to be rich. To be white has power. So what we'll do is we'll get our rights, but at the same time, though, we gonna do the work and all this stuff. And they go, oh, we gonna do all the work nobody else do. Bullshit. When blacks got their freedom from the emancipation, guess who ran and got their jobs? Irish, Chinese, and everybody else. So blacks went out and they did what? Slave labor. They did what they can at whatever cost they could to continue helping build America. But guess what happened? Mexicans came in and say, fuck Chinese, fuck blacks, fuck Irish. We gonna underbid all of them. So what happened? Our slave wages was taken from us and given to illegal Mexicans. Tell the truth. Our ghettos and everything ended up being filled up because our jobs were taken by who? Mexicans. So you get white people saying, oh my God, the Mexicans taking their job. We saying to ourselves, hell, they took from all of us more than they took from you. Because slave labor, they underbid that. Blacks was like, hold on a second, I'm only making what? 50 cents an hour. Well, the Mexicans come, they'll take 20 cents an hour. What? What? Well, they're going to work the fields and all this stuff. Hold up a second, though. Do me a favor. Take a hammer and a spike. Tap into the trunk of any tree on the plantation. Take it to the scientists and ask the scientists, can you break down the chemical composition of this tree? And the scientists say, sure. Uh-oh, there's something strange in this tree. And you'll say, what it is? I actually found traces of DNA. What? Whose DNA? Africans. How the fuck Africans' DNA get in a tree? Well, they must have been killed working these slave plantations 350 something years. And so their blood mixed in with the roots of these trees. So you mean that all the fruits and vegetables and everything that people get from them fields the Mexicans pick and stuff and everything, they say no, no. But the roots of the tree go deep. Get that, deep. And when you get to the bottom of it, which is the roots, you're gonna find our DNA of Africans, slaves, in every last one of them fields that the Mexicans working in. Imagine that. They're not spilling any blood in those fields. You know, it's painful, but just tell the truth. I'm not against you, I'm for you. But if you turn around and you keep saying all this shit about our wages and all this shit, I'm straight up gonna remind you that you sent us to the ghettos broke when you took our jobs, our slave labor. We was the ones getting paid less. Chinese was getting paid even lesser. Irish got paid more because they had white skin. Italians was getting paid less. So if you put it in the line, there was Chinese at the bottom, Negro, Italian, and then Irish. And we all took slave labor. And who came and underbid all of us? Latinos, Mexicans, took it all from us. So when you marching and everything in the civil rights movement, be careful what you say. Because you got a black man like me that know your history. People don't understand. African Americans, we got 4 histories. The first history is our African history. Second history is our African American history. Third is our African political history. Fourth is Afro-American voting political history. So you can't pull the wool over our eyes. You can't run around screaming, well, Democrats were slaves and all this stuff here and everything, owners. Yeah, let's think about this guy named John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy came around, black folks got smart in the South and the North, and they say, wait a minute, this white boy that's a Democrat, now talking about those South Confederate Democrats, Confederate Democrats, they're not talking about them. Because we know they racist in the South. Remember that Governor Ronald Reagan? Wasn't those racist, Democrat, Confederate, Southern governors? But what did he do? He became a Republican because he understood that the Republican Party of Lincoln became the Republican Party of Jim Crow, segregation, and all those things. John F. Kennedy came, he said, wait a minute, hold up, I'm a Catholic boy, and I don't believe in the shit you all doing. Black folks were like, oh, damn. Maybe we should not ever vote for Republican again, because, hey, if you think about it, just like with Trump, think about it, just like with Trump, what did they do for us? Really? We voted, we still had Jim Crow, white folks only. No Negroes allowed, go to the back door, ride the back bus. Police still cracking our head. We still lived in the ghettos. They wasn't doing shit, but they came around and said, boy, gal, coon, nigger, buck, better get out there and vote for us, or them police out there gonna knock you upside your head when you come out the voting booth. Or we're gonna vote to suppress you in your neighborhood because them sneaky black boys, them darkies, they're gonna turn around and say they're gonna vote for us, but they're gonna turn around, they're gonna vote for that Kennedy and all those other Democrats. So let's just make sure we stand out there with our baseball bats and shit and our guns and send a message that them darkies better do what we say, or it's gonna be a problem out here. Voter suppression. What's new? What's new? Same thing, just like with Trump. Promises, promises, promises. Nah, that's the okie doke. We've been hearing that for years. Well, you know that Abraham Lincoln that freed y'all was a Republican, and I can tell you every single goddamn honest to God truthful thing that racism and bigotry in this country up under the Republican Party continue to happen. Just like I tell you now, all the racist bigoted shit that the Republicans that supporting Trump still happening now today. Don't be fooled. So while you run around saying, well, Harris did this, or Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton did that, you better remember that a lot of laws and a lot of businesses, a lot of jobs, a lot of education came as a result of that. So you want to be all childish and shit and take your ball and run home only because you don't like what Harris did? You better shut your mouth and go to the poll and vote. And think about what they can do that you know damn well the Republicans are not interested in doing at all. Over the last 4 years, it rings the same truth that it rang. All them times we voted for Republicans in the past thinking that, hey, these Republicans are going to be like Abraham Lincoln. Hell no, they wasn't. We want your vote, but Negro, we're going to do one thing for you, maybe, if that. You know, well, how about we desegregate buses? Okay, we just let the darkies and everything ride in the front of the bus. But that was only after Rosa Parks. What about us being able to sit down at the lunch counter? Well, they kicking and kill whites and blacks at lunch counters. Yeah, whites and blacks at lunch counters that were out there fighting for civil rights and the Black Lives Matter movement. Yeah, I'm just telling the truth. But then they turned around and changed that law. Well, y'all doing voting and all this stuff here and everything already, because you know, boy, who y'all supposed to vote for. Dr. King came around and said, Negro people, ain't need to vote for him because this is America. I can't do the head thing he did, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to help Nixon and all these people here, tricky dick. Nixon, and get our Afro-Americans run the Republican Party to do this and to do that. Tricky dick said, okay, we get your votes. But I got news for you. Know how that happened. Same thing that's happening now with Trump. Republicans trying to trust him. Then this JFK came, and Dr. King loved John F. Kennedy. He's like, fuck Nixon, I love Kennedy. And we've been voting Democrat ever since then, because we started getting big ass changes. Yeah, Lyndon Johnson, he helped. Sure, I give him his credit. But let's just keep it real in terms of Dr. King and the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, from my point of view, is that if anybody want to know exactly what we all about and what it is that we do, listen to this song by Public Enemy, since they consider us Public Enemy anyway. Although I laugh at that, because right now, white boys, from the age of 11 to 70 years old are considered homegrown terrorists. So when they out there saying, oh, I'm Antifa and this here and that there, DOJ, Homeland Security, FBI say they terrorists. So stop letting Antifa get in the Black Lives Matter movement, because they white and they are trying to fuck up the game. But you know what though? You can always be the player. Players ain't shit. And you know why? Because players can't never, ever, ever beat the game. They can play the game, but they can't beat the game. So be the game. I'm just keeping it real. So, they say we angry? Nah. They say we pissed off? Nah. My baritone voice and my size and everything pisses you off? Nah. You just don't like the truth. And the truth of it is that I'm louder than a bomb. As Public Enemy, one of my favorite groups, sing all the time. baddest video, in my opinion, that was put out by civil rights movement. Claim we brothers from the bottom of hell, but the black is back and it's down to tell. Venture us cooling out on the 4th of July. And if you heard we're celebrating, that's a worldwide lie. Yo, man, show 'em what you got. Show 'em what you got. My style seems wild. Playboy boy, they treat me like a stepchild. Let me tell you why they got me on trial. Cause they gave me what you like. Come right at the exact. The saddest is the saddest, so we care where you at, black. And at home, I got a call from Tony Rome. The FBI was tapping my telephone. I never live alone. I never walk alone. A posse in the ready and they waiting in my zone. And then I live a lot of the resident. And they telling the truth, not our president. Telling no telling power, keeping the soul. That's deep in the truth, you know. So I'm louder than a bomb. Because I'm louder than a bomb. That baritone. You know what I'm saying? But there's a shooter then that's on the bone, full grown. Consider me stone. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand what I mean by that. Consider me stone. But let me slow it down and tell you exactly what they're saying. You know, so you can understand. From Public Enemy. You know? They claim that we're the bottom of hell. Ain't that a bitch? Claim we brothers from the bottom of hell, but the black is back and it's time to sell. Venture us cooling out on the 4th of July. And if you heard we're celebrating, that's a worldwide lie. The black federal trying to pull the 226 on us. That's real. But this style seems wild. Playboy, they treat me like a stepchild. Let me tell you where they got me on trial. They got me on trial. Because I give you what you like, come right and exact. And at my home, I got a call from my brother Tony Rome that the FBI was tapping my telephone. But I never walk alone. I live the life of a black resident. And I know the schemes of the president. They be tapping my phone and they accuse me of doing harm. Only because I'm baritone and my voice is louder than a bone. Ain't that a bitch? I am a rock hard trooper to the phone, the bone. I'm full grown, consider me stone. Committing me stone because I'm full grown. The truth is always ready. I yell Geronimo. The CIA, I ain't kidding. Both King and X, they got rid of both. There's a story untold, truth but own. Ain't no bragging, no boasting, ain't no secret because I sit on my throne.